Hello, Year 11. Welcome to Chapter 14 of the Unit 2 Maths course. The chapter is 14 in the textbook, but the chapter is called Circular Functions. The reason the chapter is called Circular Functions is that it has a lot to do with what you can see on screen in front of you now. What you can see is called the unit circle. Okay, so as you might appreciate, it's a circle. Okay, where the radius of the circle is one unit. Now, it doesn't matter what the unit is. It could be 1 centimetre, it could be 1 metre, it could be 1 kilometre, but it's got a radius of 1. Okay, excuse me. And we draw it on the Cartesian plane, and we draw it in all 4 quadrants. The origin of the circle, the origin of the Cartesian plane is the centre of the circle. Okay, and you can see something marked on here. If you look at the title of exercise 14a in your textbook, it's called Measuring Angles in Degrees and Radians. Okay, so we're all very familiar with degrees. We know how many degrees there are in a circle. There's 360. So there's 180 degrees in half a circle. Okay, but what you may not be familiar with is radians. Okay, now 1 radian is the angle subtended at the centre of the unit circle by an arc length of 1 unit. That's what it says in your textbook. But let's actually explain what that means. Okay, you can probably see what it means by looking at the diagram here. We have our circle, okay, we have our origin, and we have a radius that's been drawn into the circle. And you can see here, okay, this is marked in as 1 radian. It looks like a small letter C there, okay, and that sort of C-looking digit there, that's the mark for radian. Okay, so on that unit circle right there at the moment, it's describing an angle of 1 radian. Okay, because the radius of the circle is 1, and the length of this arc from here to here is also 1. That's labelled in. Okay, so as I said, that is 1 radian. Alright, now the thing that we need to do in exercise 14a, which we're looking at the moment, is we need to be able to actually convert units of degrees between units of angles between degrees and radians. Okay, so I've got some notes here that are going to help us with that. There's a whole lot more to this topic, but you know, we've got to start at the beginning. So the notes that I've got, this, oh, there you go, it's come into focus. This is what I got here before. I said 1 radian, written as 1 with the small c, is the angle subtended, that's called, at the centre of the unit circle by an arc length of 1 unit. So that's what I was just describing before. Okay, and here's some information you need to know. Okay, so 1 radian is 180 degrees divided by pi. Okay, that's actually the length of a radian. Okay, sorry, the size of the angle. And 1 degree is pi divided by 180 degrees. So you've got these measurements here. 1 radian is approximately, this is approximate, 57.3 degrees, and 1 degree is 0.17453 radian. Okay, so these fractions, they become important. I'm going to go back to this. This is what the book's asking you to do in exercise 14a, but let me do a little bit more explanation here. If I bring this back, yep, that's back into focus. Okay, so I'm just going to write on here, what's the formula for the circumference of a circle? The formula for the circumference of a circle is 2 pi r. Okay, you can do pi diameter, but we also use 2 pi r, and it's 2 pi r is the one we want to use at the moment. Now, this radius of this circle happens to be 1. So the circumference of this circle is 2 pi. Okay, so if I do half a circumference, if I start here and I go round to here, that's half a circumference. It's a semicircle. Okay, if the circumference of this circle is 2 pi, then when I go round to here, that's pi radian at that point there. Okay, if I go around to here, that's half of pi radian. Okay. Now over here, so this is a full pi there, pi from there to there around. That's pi radian. This is 1 radian. All the way around here is pi radian. Okay. To here is half of pi. Here is 3 halves of pi. 1 half, 2 halves, 3 halves. And over here is 2 pi. Okay. Now, pi radian is 180 degrees. Okay. Pi radian is 180 degrees. Okay. And this is where this conversion comes from. Okay. That's why to get 1 radian, it's 180 divided by pi. Okay. Because 1 radian is a pi fraction. No, sorry, that doesn't make sense. I was going to say something there that doesn't quite make sense. If you think about it, this is 0, this is pi. Now pi is approximately 3.14. Oops, let's get it back into shot. Pi is approximately 3.14. Okay, 180 divided by 3 is 60 degrees. You're not dividing by 3, you're dividing by 3.14, a little bit more than 3. So that's why it makes sense that 1 radian is just under 60 degrees. Okay. What you need to know how to do though is for this exercise, for exercise A, you're just being asked to convert from degrees to radians. Okay, and from radians to degrees. Alright, so if you want to go from radians to degrees, let's do this one here. You multiply by 180 divided by pi. Okay, you want to go from radians to degrees, you multiply by 57.3. Okay, because 1 radian is 57.3 degrees, and you're going to want the number to be bigger. Alright, 1 radian is a lot of degrees, so you're going to multiply by that number. We use it as 180 divided by pi to get to there. If you want to go from degrees to radians, you multiply by the inverse of that. You multiply by a smaller number. Okay, because you're wanting this number to get smaller. There's a couple of examples there. Okay, convert 60 degrees to radians. What we do is we say, well, we've got 60 degrees. Okay, and if we want to go to radians, we multiply by pi on 180, so it's 60 times pi over 180, and then you can just do the cancelling of the fraction here. Okay, that is 1, that is 3, so it's actually pi on 3 radians. Okay, and we leave it as an exact value like that. Normally if you've got radians as a fraction of pi, you leave it as an exact value because pi is an irrational number. And because radians are such, a radian is quite a big angle, a radian is almost 60 degrees. When you start rounding, you get a lot of errors built into your calculations very, very quickly. Okay, so if you're asked to convert 60 degrees to radians, as an example, 60 times pi over 180, it becomes 60 over 180 times pi. It's pi on 3. If you go back the other way, if we've got a value for radians of pi on 6, okay, it's pi times 180 divided by 6 times pi. Okay, you're taking this and you're multiplying it by 180 on pi. The pi cancels out. You've got 180 divided by 6, which is 30 degrees. Okay, now this exercise is really just about doing those simple conversions. It's a really short exercise. It's really quick. Okay, but this little introduction, this is the way we get started. Over the next couple of videos, I'm going to be explaining the unit circle quite a bit more. Okay, but I'm going to sign off with that. Let's just get started with that and do a few of those questions. Okay, and I'll be back again in another video to take it a little bit further.